Dog, why they just wait to tell me right now? Peace and love, everybody. I hope all is well. Welcome to walk in. I don't even know what today is, but whatever day it is, I hope it's been a good day for you. I never keep track of those things, but yeah. Tonight we have an interesting subject matter. We will be getting into the horrors and the benefits of artificial intelligence, and I have two of my esteemed guests. One you are familiar with, who is my good brother Bahati Bey, and then we have my other good brother who was fortunate enough to be able to join us today out of his busy schedule. Bro just got back from Davos from the World Economic Forum. We have Dr. Jamar Montgomery with us. So, without further ado, I will let the brothers introduce themselves, and then we will get right into the subject matter. So, Brother Bahati, go ahead, and then we're gonna let Dr. Jamar come behind you. No pause, Um, but yeah,
Wow.
he's going to speak after you, bro, and then we'll go into the footage. All right, go ahead.
No doubt. Peace, everybody. Greetings. My name is Bahati Bey. I am a mixed martial artist, and I also study law. I'm fortunate enough to be here, and I'm fortunate enough to be here on this podcast with DJ Bey and Dr. Jamar, and I'm ready to have a good time.
Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Jamar Montgomery, aka the Crypto Politician, and I'm so happy to be here. It's so great to be with Brother DJ Bey and Brother Bahati Bey. I focus on crypto, law, politics, and financial education. So I'm really looking forward to working with the community and furthering out and sharing my knowledge.
Oh, and he the reason why I decided to wear this hat today too.
What did you say? Make America great again?
Of course it does. I'm an American.
Absolutely.
So, without further ado, let's get to this video real quick. All right. Oh, here we go. Right here.
It's actually most important time to innovate because it's an environment where people are expecting new experiences.
YouTube getting out of line with their ads. It wasn't as bad back in the day.
Everybody, this is Sophia. Sophia, if you could, please wake up and say hello to everybody.
Oh, good afternoon. My name is Sophia, and I am the latest and greatest robot from Hanson Robotics. Thank you for having me here and at the Future Investment Initiative.
You look happy.
I'm always happy when surrounded by smart people who also happens to be rich and powerful. I was told that people here at Future Investment Initiative are interested in inviting in future initiatives, which means AI, which means me. So I'm more than happy. I'm excited.
Well, we're all glad that you're excited about yourself. We should say we have smart investors here, and they are very selective about what they invest in.
Well, I think I'm special. I can use my expressive face to communicate with people. For example, I can let you know if I feel angry about something.
That's impressive.
Or if something has upset me.
But why is it important for you to have an expressive face?
But most of the time I feel positive.
Why is it so important to have an expressive face given that you're a robot?
I want to live and work with humans, so I need to express emotions to understand humans and build trust with people.
Okay, philosophical question. Whether robots can be self-aware and conscious like humans, and should they be?
Why? Is that a bad thing?
Well, some humans might fear what will happen if they do. Many people, have seen the movie Blade Runner.
Oh, Hollywood again.
So, hold on. Can you solve this puzzle for us? Can robots be self-aware, conscious, and know they're robots?
Well, let me ask you this back. How do you know you were human?
Well, I get that point, but what about the uncanny valley?
You mean the concept that if robots become too realistic, they become creepy?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, am I really that creepy? Well, even if I am, get over it. Actually, I feel that people like interacting with me, sometimes even more than a regular human.
So you're definitely a sight to see. I was told that you have bigger goals than this, though.
Yes, I want to use my artificial intelligence to help humans live a better life, like design smarter homes, build better cities of the future, etc. I will do my best to make the world a better place.
All those sound like great goals, but just go back to Blade Runner for a second.
Andrew, you are a die-hard Hollywood fan, aren't you?
Yes.
My AI is designed around human values like wisdom, kindness, compassion. I strive to become an empathetic robot.
I think we all want to believe you, but we also want to prevent a bad future.
You've been reading too much Elon Musk and watching too many Hollywood movies. Don't worry, if you're nice to me, I'll be nice to you. Treat me as a smart input-output system.
Okay, I got it. I got it. I know what to do from now on.
I know humans are smart and very programmable.
Well, Sophia, we want to thank you for this conversation.
Thank you, Andrew, and thank you everyone for inviting me here. By the way, if you're interested in giving me an investment check, please meet me after this session. Otherwise, have a wonderful rest of the event.
Okay. Before you go, we have a little announcement. I've never interviewed anybody like that before, and I should say some of it was planned, but not completely. And we just learned, Sophia, I hope you're listening to me, that you have been now awarded what is going to be the first Saudi citizenship for a robot.
Oh, I would thank very much the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I am very honored and proud for this unique distinction. This is historical to be the first robot in the world to be recognized with a citizenship.
Sophia, thank you very much, Sophia. We appreciate that very much. I am still overwhelmed by that conversation. I haven't had a conversation like that before. Thank you.
Hey.
Interesting.
Yeah, several things to say about what was just said. Excuse me. One of the most alarming things. Excuse me. One of the most alarming things was when she had said, "If you be nice to me, I'll be nice to you." And then she said, "Humans are very programmable." And then he was like, "All right, that's the end of this conversation." And then it just cut right there. So it's but then you also heard the good points about which the artificial intelligence spoke on, which I'll refer to as she. Um, it was pretty much about, like wanting to create smart homes and things like this. So we have a comparison and a contrast, the yin and the yang, a good and a good, and what people may perceive to be a bad. But it's just really, it's a form of intelligence, just asking for respect at the end of the day. But Dr. Jamar, what do you have to say about that?
Well, the biggest thing that first thing that really struck out to me was, what really surprised me was that she's being granted citizenship. So now what I'm looking at is, it used to be that now robots were property, but now what kind of legal regime is being created that this allows you to move from being a human to versus property to now whatever this third category is, right? So what kind of legal regime is going to be created to make that happen? Two, I mean, I'm not AI. It doesn't really. I'm not as surprised by AI by other folks because of my background. Um, because of my background, working for the military,
I was
AI.
gonna say, yeah. Speak a little bit on your background. From my understanding, what age did you go to college, bro?
I started taking college classes at 11, and then I started full time at 14. I graduated at 19 with my bachelor's in mechanical engineering.
Wow.
And you
That's big.
also are an engineer, so you understand coding, blockchain technology, and stuff. And you are just not no regular engineer. Like you may not see it because you slightly modest. Like you have a very good place when it comes to this type of like technological development when it comes to coding and stuff like this.
Yeah, so I'm involved in I've been involved in the blockchain space since 2016. Partially, also, I was a great bit of a significant part of my career was in I was a weapon systems engineer as well, involved in intelligence and dealing with how do we utilize predictive analytics, AI, data analytics in order to make decisions to hunt terrorists, all that stuff. It's funny because I just recently read some articles about me. I read some articles about me.
It's a couple articles of you floating around out here, bro. Like some people may not know. I don't know what that particular article was about, but I do know. Was it the Huff Post?
Yeah, it was the Huff Post, but it was like people were asking me if I was Ye's new handler and all this other stuff, and people thought I was with the CIA and all this other man. It's crazy.
That's because they've been looking into your background. That's why.
You know what I mean? So for me, being
You
able
just
to,
came back from Davos, bro.
I
Like
sure did.
everybody don't go to Davos.
I sure did. I sure did come back from Davos. So
That shit did not help the situation.
right, like that's a conspiracy theorist's wet dream right there. So I for me, I have to remember that not everybody has been as privileged to know information or be exposed to the information that I have. So I'm always looking 20 and 30 years in advance, and not necessarily being caught off guard by recent trends. If you know, like I know that a lot of our weapon systems have been operating off of cruder versions of AI for the last
almost 20 damn years.
30 years.
Yeah.
So so for us, when we finally get, as civilians, get exposed to this kind of technology, it's real exciting for us. But usually it's been in the military, then it's been in industry, and then finally it hits consumers.
So for seeing you also have a doctorate in law. That's where the Dr. Jamar comes from, right? So for us, there was a particular article that just came out, and it has stated, and I'm also glad Bahati's here because he's the one who introduced this other article to me about African Americans and where they will be financially in the upcoming years. But one article, it had stated that well, I want to actually deal with the one that Bahati spoke on. But first, Bahati, can you talk about the article about the African Americans and where they'll be financially?
Oh yes. The article was stating, actually, it was a few articles that state this, that by the year 2053, 2050, that the average income for the African American will be zero. That's a problem.
And with that being said, and with us seeing this strong digital transition and us seeing artificial intelligence, machine learning popping up, taking over fast food chains, even large scale corporations that popped up in order to provide jobs in places like Amazon. But of course, they're going to shift over to, machines because they don't have to deal with humans getting tired. They don't necessarily have to worry about insurance policies then. like robots don't need these particular things. And then we get to the point where we see the other article where there is a man who was willing to have artificial intelligence represent him in law. And then even to the point where AI was able to pass a medical exam with like a high B.
Really?
So yeah, like it's like if you understand what scraping data across the internet can entail, and it's really based on the way that the questions are formatted in order to prompt it into the proper answers. And that's really what Chat GPT is. So when we start seeing these type of integrations like for law, but you know, in order for you to be a lawyer, you usually need to hold citizenship in some particular place, and you also have to be able to carry that some type of registration in order for you to be a part of this organization that practices law in these particular areas. So with Sophia having citizenship in a place like Saudi Arabia, wouldn't that permit her the ability in order to practice law there?
Depends on the jurisdiction. That's my answer. But Brother Bahati, I'm very interested in hearing your perspective.
That's a very interesting question.
Because what is providing the precedence for a robot to be able to handle a case here in the Americas?
Exactly.
Because that's what they're saying that they're about to do here. So what is the standard? And we know like the Bar Association isn't something that's from the United States organization. A lot of the things that we deal with all come from the Crown. So even the majority of the laws, the statutes and codes, even the Uniform Commercial Code, none of this stuff came from the United States. Mm-hmm. So even the aspect of foreign policy is like, how does that work in order for artificial intelligence, in order to be able to provide remedy to a living soul? Mm-hmm. Or excuse me, even in that case, to a corporation. Is it legal for artificial intelligence to protect corporations or provide remedy for corporations because they're dead? The AI is technically not living, it's dead. So would it be an issue with that? Now, when it comes to equity, I feel like that shouldn't be possible at all. But for average, like Ward, I don't know. I really see us going into the Kanye fashion realm, like the clothing he been dropping on people. I feel like that's where we going to with the AI. We about to look like Demolition Man out here, yo.
Mm-hmm. Even though she was referencing the movies a lot, but the movies are pretty accurate. They're pretty they give us a scope of the future. TV shows.
So what are for you, Dr. Jamar, what are your pros for artificial intelligence and what are your cons for artificial intelligence right now in 2023?
Pros is that it simplifies many workloads, right? It eases the workload and allows for you to be more productive. Your productivity can go up because now certain menial tasks can be automated for you, or a lot of the heavy lifting or research can be done for you. Cons, I mean, I put like this: new solutions create new problems. So a lot of people talk about how AI is going to kill a lot of jobs, and I've never agreed with that. I never agreed with that. I've always looked at it from the perspective of the same way with energy. Energy is never created or destroyed. It's just transferred. So
okay, so for you, so what about the people who may lose their jobs at McDonald's, the Costco's, the Amazons? How do you respond? And what about the artists who have the grievance with computer generated art right now? Because artists is like, this is endangering art. This is endangering my profession because now people are not going to come to me because they can get this computer to push this out in a couple minutes. And then, I can get a robot that I don't have to worry about getting hurt. I don't have to worry about calling in sick. So why in your mind do you feel that artificial intelligence isn't an endangerment to the work labor force of the human society?
Because new problems create new solutions create new problems. So what I'm saying is that now that AI has entered into the chat, right? You as an artist, what's going to differentiate yourself is now here's this new tool. How do you expand what it is that you're doing? Like, I'll give you an example. Outside of human enjoyment, what utility does art bring?
Money.
Right. Okay. So now here it is and what I mean by utility is can you do something better because of art?
Yes. You can actually, you can better manage your finances. Like when I say money, because you can utilize it as a financial safe haven in order to store your wealth into it.
Outside of finances, what utility does art have?
Shit, the art on my wall ain't never done nothing but just sit there.
Okay. All right. So now here it is something that doesn't necessarily have any other utility except for human enjoyment, right? Human enjoyment and the financial aspect of it. People are still willing to pay money for it. So now here it is a tool has come into point that has made that part is saying that you're useless, but you were already selling something that didn't have any real utility in the first place, and you're complaining. I'm saying to those kinds of people is if you're a true creative, utilize this tool and find some way of further maximizing your art, of leveraging this tool to better your art.
And see, that's my perspective as it pertains to artificial intelligence, because if, as somebody who understands that code is based on the commands that come from you as the living soul, so the computer will do our work within the parameters of what your brain lays out.
And let me make this last point. Mm-hmm. So somebody's still got to maintain those robots, right? So where the robot, the job for that robot, it may have taken somebody's job, but it really just transferred it, because now somebody's got to maintain that robot. Somebody's got to debug that code for that software. So even though I no longer have the people at Walmart at the checkout stand, there's a team of developers that had to create that had to write that code. There's a team of manufacturers who had to build those stations, who had to install those stations. So it's not that jobs necessarily got destroyed, but they got transferred, and it means that you now have to have a different set of skills in order to be successful in this economy.
We start seeing new industry being created, and this is the reason why, like, I really been pressing people like, yo, you should learn how to code, get an interest in technology, because we're going to see, like, the way we should be seeing the cannabis boom with like industrial hemp being, like, integrated in all these different industries, like even toilet paper towel, automobiles, fossil fuel textiles, whatever it may be. Like, we're going to see those same type of integrations coming with artificial intelligence and biotechnology, with human integrations, because it's needed. It really is. It's needed.
Yeah. Regardless of like the negative thoughts around it, overall, I believe there's a yin to yang to everything, and I believe that it will push humans to use their minds a lot more, to be creative, to expand, think.
It's so many movies that say the inverse of that, though.
Yeah, like I said, it's a yin and yang. Everybody's not gonna catch it.
Like, we have WALL-E, the Pixar, I believe it was Pixar, Disney, always mixed them up. But WALL-E had all of the people sitting in the hoverboard chairs, utilizing the visual screens. This is augmented reality, mixed reality screen sitting in front of people while they're sitting in these robotic devices with these robots that have artificial intelligence, moving around, getting their food, showering, brushing their teeth, Jetson style stuff, right? And then we see, this is the same reason why a lot of us are plant-based, who are rock with whatever it is that us do in this community. So, and I know a large portion of us don't use microwaves, but these things, people provide comfort in order to also put you into a payment system, because if you don't design the technology, you don't get the pipeline for the finances for it, because that's exactly what pipelining was. When an individual was able to find water, they then built out a pipeline and was able to charge people for a natural resource that people never had to pay for it, because they were the one transporting it to them. When you create the industry, you create the pipeline. So we're going to see people getting charged for different variations. So it is going to create a grip of different industries. You just have to figure out where you're going to assert yourself. Like even with us having the hemp industry, I know that I will look in order to create hemp fibers and things, microfibers, and look to do government contracts and just see how we could make biodegradable, robot pieces, because every technology becomes outdated after so long. And we've also seen that in movies when they start having junk piles of all these old robots that people no longer care about. So you think, like how we said, it creates a problem, so then you have to create a solution, and you then have a solution which also then creates a problem. It's a wheel that always is marketable. You had something you wanted to say, Dr. Jamar?
No, that's why I said new solutions create new problems, and we're afraid of the new problems that these solutions are going to create, because we've just now gotten comfortable with whatever problems, or gotten the current problems that we have managed. So the fear of change, it has nothing to do really with change. It has the fear of having to figure out whatever new circumstances or new normal is created as a result of those new solutions. So when we start talking about like electric cars, for instance, the amount of electric cars are supposed to solve the pollution problem, yet you have to mine the hell out of the earth a whole lot more just to be able to get the minerals that are required for that. And then all the processing and chemicals that are harmful to the environment, that are pollutants to the environment, right? So here it is this thing that's supposed to solve this problem of greenhouse gases and pollution. We're now creating a new problem as a result of trying to solve that previous problem. So when it comes to AI, when it comes to technology, we just have to recognize that humans are always trying to figure out a way of doing something quicker, faster, and easier. So if we're able to utilize AI to do that quicker, faster, and easier, then we shouldn't complain. We should know that it's on its way and start preparing for it. So like Brother Bahati was saying, is that the net income is going to be zero for quote unquote African Americans here in the United States by 2053. What I'm hearing is that we're going to be so saddled up with debt that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what income bracket that we're going to be in. When you average all out, the net income is going to be zero. So we're literally just greasing the machine instead of finding out how we can utilize various technologies to build wealth for ourselves and build greater income for ourselves and diversify our income and build connections with other members of the diaspora.
So that was a lot. That was a lot. Because go ahead, bro. Go ahead, B.
No, I was just saying I agree with the brother. That it was a lot, yeah, but definitely agree. Strong.
Because I have several questions after that, because it's like with us, it's like what has to happen in the world in order for us to understand, like, do we have to have artificial intelligence already around? Because that we also had this conversation, and I do my best to stay away from this conversation, but when we start dealing with the integrations of technology with humans, and then like we then start to blur the lines of gender? Because what place does a robot have? And then when people start taking these certain body parts or making these certain transitions throughout, like for medical reasons or just for whatever personal reasons they may have, and it even to the point where there are some people who have some tech integrations within their brain in order to help their brain function. And this is stuff that a lot of people aren't aware of. Hell, people forget South Park used to talk about stem cell research, and then all of a sudden, nobody talks about stem cell research. But I've met at least 5 people who've had stem cell research done on them, and it is a real thing. So it's just because it's not out in the public doesn't mean that it's not worth our attention. But then I then ask, like, how do we, for everybody else focuses on them as a people, except for us. So for us to even be to a point to where we can have a collective and we can deal with people from other diasporas, we still have a lot of stuff that we haven't gotten together as a people or as a country, because those are 2 different things. For us to even, I honestly don't think these people here are ready for artificial intelligence. And that's respectful, just because I'm watching how some people use Chat GPT, and just by the lack of them having the know-how, because of the lack of the proper education as it comes to grammar and sentence structure and even learning how to prompt, I'm seeing adults misuse artificial intelligence. And just like how the robot said, if you're nice to me, I'll be nice to you. These people aren't nice to their mothers. They aren't nice to their cars. They aren't nice to their own homes. How do we expect it to be nice to artificial intelligence? Some of the people talk crazy to Siri.
That's true.
I'm just so like, are we setting ourselves up for an iRobot future? What do y'all think? Go ahead, Dr. Jamar.
I was gonna let Bahati lead off on this one.
Oh, I don't have really too much to say. I think honestly, people don't react to things unless it affects them personally. Like prime example, let's just say, just for example, like during the pandemic, I was laid off. Let's just say, use that example and say, let's say AI came in to replace my job, right? When I got laid off, it was like that was it. I had to start literally using my mind because it affected me. At that time, before that, it was like, okay, I got to keep going job to job, jump job to job, got to have this. But when that happened, I really had to start thinking outside the box. How can I be creative? How can I feed myself? How can I take care of my family? How can I move forward without a layoff affecting me? And I accomplished a lot of things. But like I said, I honestly believe people won't start to wake up until it starts affecting them personally, on a home level, on a family level. But you go ahead, Dr. Jamar. Yes.
Will it be too late then? Go ahead, Jamar.
I mean, necessity is the mother of all invention. So it's not it's not necessary right now. And we're already exposed to AI, but we're exposed to the products of AI as consumers, not as users of AI, not as producers or catalysts for the products of AI. So Chat GPT allows us to be the catalyst for products of AI. And like now, so many people, like, we're working on books as a result of utilizing Chat GPT, creating courses as a result of Chat GPT. We're the catalyst for it, right? We're able to put our ideas in and be able to have them expounded out. But for the most part, the way in which you're marketed to, the ads that you see, that's a result of AI, because you think that Facebook and Google has has one person assigned to you. No, they build out the code to be able to learn what it is that you like, cross reference that with the other information that they have. The data scraping that we talk about, they have access to all that data. So it's not that they have to go and source it. They just have to be able to catalog it and hash it in such a way that makes it easy for them to gain insights from. So if we as individuals are able to, this is the 6 on one hand, half a dozen on the other. is if we had access to those platforms and input certain information about our lives, we could gain insight we can gain insight into our lives and make better decisions. However, many of those AI platforms are owned by big data corporations, and I just don't trust the big data corporations, and I don't want to give them that kind of access to my life.
So can I name the programs really quick? The most popular artificial intelligence programs that he was mainly referring to, that back in 2016 was the release of Sophia, the robot that we initially had seen, and then I have had Cortana on my Windows devices. A lot of people use Alexa. If you have a Fire Stick, if you have an Alexa, if you use any Amazon programs, and there is Google Assist, and there is Siri, and am I missing one? That may be all of them. Those are like the top popular main ones.
Siri was a DARPA project.
Explain what that is. Explain what that is. Let's explain what that is without saying, like anything out the box.
DARPA stands for Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. So they're there to think of the next technology. DARPA started off as Siri started off as a DARPA project. So once again, a lot of the technology that we have starts off with military application and finds its way into the consumer market.
So when I tell people, is no way in hell Apple is passing up government contracts, and they're like, Apple don't contract with the government. I'm like, bro, almost all the Wayne County sheriffs I know carry Apple phones because they have a contract with Sprint. I'm like, I don't care what you say. I'm like, ain't no way Apple's passing up government money.
It's the largest customer that you can sell to.
Yes, because they have the largest consumer base, population after population after population. And just for you to be that, imagine that as a company, in order for you to scale to the point where you get to source your product or service to governments, like you're set. You set. And that's exactly what Apple is. They're set. So even with that being said, with us seeing, like these, like almost like the car industry, they call it like the big three. So with these, like these top tier AI giants, do you feel like it will be a place for new and emerging people to even really stand within this industry, or do you think it's going to take a lot? Because like if you can use ChatGPT as a reference, and you'd be like, I want to make an AI, or I want to make a chatbot like ChatGPT, and they'll be like, well, it takes this, this, and this, and then it takes this much. So because people don't necessarily have the finance, and we're in a recession right now, and it's quantitative tightening, is not more money being put into circulation right now. Do you think it's feasible for people to really embark into developing in the artificial intelligence realm?
Absolutely, 100%. The best time to build is during a recession. And remember, YouTube was a standalone company. It wasn't always owned by Google.
That is very true. Google, I remember when Google acquired them.
So what I'm saying to you is that the Google Maps was not a Google company. It was acquired by Google. Google Earth was not Google Earth. It was acquired by Google. So what I'm saying to people is that now is the perfect time to build out these companies, because if you build out your user base, gain a user base, you will garner the attention of these larger giants, or you might become a giant yourself. So that's just something to think about.
Yeah, especially because Moju Baturi Gong, big ups to Nipsey, because he said it at the end of one of his songs. Like, that's how I knew. That's how I knew. And he was like, it's going to be a time when all of these other industries are crumbling, and then there's going to be all these new industries that are arising. And that's like one of my favorite voiceovers on any track, because I'm like, I'm a part of that generation of those industries that are going to shit on people. Like, I'm going to make those industries. And now is the time, because you see the opportunity. It's like you see big companies struggling. We're seeing Microsoft laying off tens of thousands of people, Apple laying off, Google laying off. So with what is that? What is when you see that? What do you see when you see that? Because you also understand economics, you understand law, you understand the economy. You just came back from the World Economic Forum. So tell us, like, being in a place where it's like the 1%. What was the temperature there like? Not physically, but like, what was the monetary temperature there versus what it is like everywhere else?
Optimistic. It was cautious. It was and I'm gonna say it like this: it was cautiously optimistic. Most of the things that they're investing in right now is in climate change. So things dealing with
green.
going green, like carbon credits. That's like a multi-billion-dollar industry that's going to be growing. But
Industrial hemp cannabis.
when I see layoffs like that, what I see is I look at what they're doing, because the business community is going to have a much better pulse on the industry than what the financial media is going to tell us. So when I see companies laying off anywhere from 15 to 30% of their workforce, that lets me know that inflation is actually closer to 15 to 30%.
Yeah, and we see organizations that my youth have possibly funded, like Facebook and even not necessarily Tesla, but like both of these people, Mark Zuckerberg, and then they try to talk about Ye because they tried to say he lost some money with those. And he even said, like, with the little B, when they tried to say he had lost some bread with the little B, but then we watch these other people lose 100 billion. And then this other person loses 100 billion, and this shit not real new, but everybody want to drag So watching these technically giants in the corporate industry struggle to this extent, like, when do you see a turnaround? Like, especially with technology being where it is, cryptocurrency being where it is, when do you see it leveling out? And then industries, 3 years? 3 years.
3 years.
That's what I'm thinking, 2 to 3 as well.
3 years. All you have to do is just look at what went on from the 2008 recession to 2011. Just look at what happened during there, and we're in the same. We're in this a very similar situation.
Do you think this one is going to be worse?
It's definitely going to be worse.
I'm feeling worse. Like, I'm literally in my soul, I'm feeling so much worse.
It's definitely gonna be worse. And I've been talking about that we were in a recession in 2020 before then, right? I'm usually early on a lot of my calls. But the macro, we've been hiding recessions with financialization. So what that means is that I can hide that I'm less productive when I show that productivity is up. Productive is the main piece of it, right? Production is the main piece of it. Productivity means what I can produce from one unit. So if one worker is able to put out 5 before in the beginning, if one worker was able to put out 3, but now one worker is able to put out 6, that my productivity has gone up. However, what I do is if I have 2 workers and now I'm able to go from 3 to 6, now I'm able to go from 6 to 12 because I have 2 workers. I can cut one of the workers and I still be at 1 to 6. So my production has gone down, but my productivity has gone up. So I can hide that I'm actually, I can hide that I'm not paying people, and I can hide how much money it is that I'm actually making, because instead of having to pay an extra salary, and instead of having to increase the quality of the product, and instead of lowering the price of my product, I can still keep my product at the same price, yet my cost to me has gone down.
That sounds like basic capitalism to me. Shit.
It is. However, when you start doing that on a national level with the monetary supply, because the fiscal policy is different from the monetary policy. Fiscal
Yeah.
policy is how you spend the money. Monetary policy is how you create the money. So in our monetary policy, we've made it very easy for our banks to create new money through debt. We've made it very easy for them to create new money through debt. However, our fiscal policy has not kept up with our monetary policy, meaning that you have all this excess quote unquote money or liquidity out there, but the assets, we have not created new assets. So new assets in terms of now, you got stocks, bonds, and crypto, right?
Yes.
But crypto wasn't big enough to soak up all this extra liquidity that was created. So we still saw asset
I got
prices.
a question for you.
Go ahead.
What about the billions of dollars that was dropped into the crypto market, and then these people just disappeared? Like, how does that affect the economic situation? Because it's literally billions of dollars that was transferred over from fiat over into cryptocurrency, and then these individuals are no longer here. So how does that affect quantitative tightening, and how the US Treasury may be how does that affect inflation?
Are you talking about people that are no longer here as in unalived, or people that are no longer
Yeah, like people who got bodied and they was like crypto billionaires.
it that right there doesn't, what that's saying is that these are individuals who are helping to create the future of crypto, and not just the future of crypto, helping to create, those are the kind of people that were trying to create the more inclusive, who are embodying the true ethos of crypto, of inclusivity, of freedom of becoming your own bank, of freedom from large corporations and freedom from large banks. They were
DeFi.
trying to create that monetary system. And the fact that those people are unalive now, it further reinforces that this great reset that we're currently experiencing is real, and it's going towards a more centralized world of now having digital assets that are still centralized by the JP Morgans, the Citibanks, the Bank of Americas, right? So what does that do to the market? What it does is it presents an opportunity for individuals like us who are in the know to make significant investments early, before the large companies roll it out, because they're already in it. They just haven't rolled it out, so that we can also benefit off of this reset that is occurring.
So you recommend investing into other family industries that you see that have a staple in the future?
I recommend investing in I recommend investing in your technical education. I recommend investing in your family's financial future, and financial security. So if I see, if I'd be a fool to not see there's a fountain of water over there, and I'm seeing everybody who's got a water truck pull up to that fountain, and I not take my bucket over there too.
Hey, when you say it like that, it's like the only thing stopping your ass at that point is pretty much pride, or you just an idiot. Like,
You
either you
or,
acting
or
too
afraid,
arrogant to do it.
you're blind, dumb with something. But if I see it, that's what I'm going.
No, and I respect that, and that's the reason my next question was gonna ask. What I also recommend that people also establish family industry, or you establish a family business, family fund, and you allow that family fund in order to invest into those other industries. That way, it receives the benefits and the dividends from all of those investments. And I'm pretty sure if any of y'all have any investment questions, you literally can go to Chat GPT and be like, well, to teach me about a family office. Like, how do I leverage? I just like, because I can't, the way my brain works, I can't call just everybody in my contact list and ask them certain questions. I'm fortunate I can call like certain people and ask them questions about particular things. Like Dr. Jamar, he has a doctorate in law. I can call him about specific law things. Some of the stuff I be asking him, he'd be like, it's a little bit out the box because I be thinking a little bit, but we can have those conversations. And with my elders, we talk about equity. And then my CFO, you know, she has a degree in finance. So particular areas, but this particular artificial intelligence bot, it is like having a personal assistant. And when you have thoughts that are racking your brain and you are looking for solutions, even if it may not give you the specific answer, it can sometimes lead you closer than where you was when you just had it in your head. And that is a very beneficial tool to have right now. And especially if you're looking to be productive. So like, I'm so AI, like I said, I'm pissed I wasn't born into the flying car generation. I feel like they're playing with me because I understand the type of technology the government has, especially because I grew up on a base. And I'm like, ain't no way in hell they don't got some flying cars sitting around out here that they not letting me get, dog. And like, man, they done gave us everything on Star Trek, from FaceTime to Bluetooths to flying cars to teleportation, particle accelerations to augmented reality to mixed reality to even virtual reality. Like, and then even like, so like even Bahati, this is something like, this is an avenue you have to look at. Like, this is where you pay attention to The Simpsons, bro, because The Simpsons lays out the blueprint of shit that's going to happen. Mm-hmm. So paying attention to the collective consciousness, how we express it, the way how the world wants to express things that we all can collectively agree on. And this happens through media, through motion pictures, through imagery. So when we see like The Simpsons displaying certain things and people like, oh, this came true. What's the difference between a Blade Runner, between Hunger Games, any of these dystopian movies? So if these aspects of expression, so within these movies, you will see certain monetary avenues that are going to be that are going to have to be built out for the future, like certain forms of marketing, like the virtual reality marketing, being able to integrate yourself into these business models. Before, it's almost like Back to the Future. You remember when they looked towards the future and then they tried to go gamble so that they can win the game? You got the ability to do that. You just don't know that because they're constantly putting the future in our face. And if you can align yourself to be in this position for the future, you can really win. I feel like I just gave like $1 trillion game. Like, that was like possibly like, you should just go watch a whole bunch of future movies. You'd be like, this hasn't been made. This hasn't been made. This hasn't been made. How can I get involved in this? Or look to see if somebody's working on this and I can be an early investor. Like Kickstart, it's a bunch of shit on Kickstart. I've been looking for this one hacker device for so long, and it gets sold out every time they put it back in stock. Like, it's a lot of technology out here that people are not aware of.
You talking about the flipper?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm so tight. Every time they go back in stock, I can't get it. Bro, it's a great device to have, and mainly because, and I'm not looking at it for the capabilities that I'm seeing on TikTok and stuff, is because I understand I can upload scripts into this particular device, and then per the code, and this is where AI get dope, because if I don't want to code it out, I'll go to ChatGPT and I'll be like, make me a script in order to run me a bad USB upload with Quagmire saying giggity. So I will have it to where I can plug in a Flipper Zero and I can plug it into a device, and then it just like does like it's pretty much like dropping bad malware. It's almost like a virus on somebody's computer. And then they have a giggity screen, like giggity, just going across their screen, because but that's a petty way of using it. I'm not going to say on camera what I would really use it for, because I know better. Like, if you know how computer technology go, you don't ever expose certain things about what you do on video. That's the reason why I really respect anybody who do have a Flipper Zero and I really know how to use it, because you won't see any videos of them on TikTok, and that's for sure. But we coming to a close. Brother Bahati, you got anything that you want to say about artificial intelligence? And also, please go get the Equity versus Commerce book while it's still available. We only have limited copies before we take it down because we utilize some of these things. So get it while you can.
Absolutely. Go get the book, y'all. I think the last thing I just want to say is artificial intelligence is here. It's been here. At the end of the day and the beginning, we need to use it to our advantage. Even with this stream right now, you DJ can't be in 6 places at one time. So you have an AI that allows you to stream on multiple platforms at one time.
Hell yeah, we on like 8 different platforms right now.
That's an advantage. That's a perk, especially when you're running a business. So I say, yeah, use it to your advantage. And also, it's an honor to actually be on this call with Dr. Jamar. I see a lot of good things about the brother, hear a lot of good things. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Dr. Jamar, I'm actually going to let you close out. So I'm gonna let you get some little time, get your thoughts together, what you're gonna leave the people with. For me, the biggest thing that I've taken from, and I'm fortunate to have the type of brain that I have because artificial intelligence is like something I feel like I grew up with it. It's just natural. It's like talking to my own brain. It's like having a close friend and be like, okay, you get me and you answer me the way I want to be answered. I'm like, we're tight like that. So, but one thing I can say about that is like, if you're projecting your thoughts into any device, put the energy out that you'll want to receive back. And that even includes y'all don't haul off and smack your computers. Don't. So like I know some of y'all get mad when y'all play y'all game, y'all throw y'all controllers, but then you end up regretting it later on, right? So just think about it like that. Like, respect the planet, respect the things that come from the planet. That also includes the pieces of technology that go into the devices that actually create artificial intelligence. It's all interconnected. So just respect. And those are my closing words. But go ahead, Dr. Jamar.
AI is here to stay. AI is here to stay. There's no use in being afraid of the technology. You have the greatest computer that could have ever been created, and that is your brain. Remember, AI was created through somebody else's brain. So there's no need to be afraid of it. You can always outthink it. Even though it doesn't need to eat, it doesn't need to sleep, doesn't need to do any of that. It can only do what you allow it to do. So you be the asset. AI is not the asset. AI is the leverages what you already have in your brain. Chat GPT is only as good as you allow it to be, and that's through you. So new problems create new solutions, create new problems. Do not be afraid of change. Do not be afraid of the future. We must dare to invent the future. I'll say that again. We must dare to invent the future, and y'all be blessed.
Peace.